What's up there, SEO pros? Welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about how to do basic SEO for a website. So if you're working with a website, you don't really know what to do, you're kind of new to SEO, and you want to sort of figure out, what are like the first things I can do for this website. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some things that you can do right away, make a quick buck off of if that's what you're looking to do, or just start optimizing websites that you're already working with and you don't really know what to do for them. So if you're like a web designer, or you do like social media, or you're brand new to SEO or whatever, basically now you're going to be able to find out how to sort of do a little upcharge for your clients if you're starting to want to get into selling SEO and doing more implementations. So the way this works is I'm just going to do a screen share with you guys. This is live, so if you want to get notified when I do these live videos and interact with the people in chat or interact with me and ask questions, make sure you press the little bell icon and the subscribe button so you can get notified. So I'm going to show you today my own website. These are things that you can do for any website, whether it's local or national, but if you are new, I would definitely recommend local, and I actually did a video talking about local SEO versus national SEO. If you want to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description so you can sort of see like the difference in terms of what you're looking at if you're looking at starting SEO and you just don't know where to start. All right, sorry, I was a little zoomed in right there. Okay, so first thing we got to do is we're going to log in, and I'm going to be working on a WordPress website. I don't know what you're going to be using, but you can use these techniques on pretty much any type of website. Doesn't really matter what you're going to be doing. Although there will be some plugins that I will be recommending here that are not going to be on like something like Squarespace or Wix. And by the way, just to get this out of the way, the only two real content management systems that I recommend doing SEO on if you're starting out is either like WordPress or Squarespace. Unless you know web design, you know how to edit code and stuff, I probably wouldn't recommend messing with anything super complicated because things can get a little messy, especially when you start trying to edit websites that you really have no idea how they're set up. When I first started, I got given websites that were like on Drupal and like Magento and all these weird themes, and I just couldn't optimize them. I wound up having to refund the clients, and I had to waste my time and their time, which wasn't a good thing. All right, so if you've never been in WordPress, it's not too hard to figure out. Basically, you're going to be spending most of your time on the pages, posts, and probably like the plugins. Other than that, you're not going to be spending a lot of time, messing around with, design and stuff unless you are already doing design, like I said. So the first thing I want to talk about is the plugins, because generally when you start out with a new website, there's going to be no plugins on the website. And again, if you're working with a different theme, you're going to have to figure out how to basically how to do whatever these plugins are going to do for you without having the plugins. And I'm going to try to talk about how you would probably do some of these things if you didn't have these plugins. But for the most part, that's why I like using WordPress, because it is sort of easy to use plugins for a lot of things. So I actually created a downloadable checklist, by the way, of a bunch of SEO tools I use, including the plugins I use. So if you want to get that, you can just head to the link in the description. I'll leave it there as well, and you can download the list. But off the top of my head, I know the first plugin that we're going to use is Yoast. A lot of people ask me, what's better? Is it Yoast or All-in-One, or what's the best SEO, plugin for WordPress? And I don't think there really is a best SEO plugin. As long as it gets the job done. And Yoast has done that for me for the last couple years, so I don't really ask questions about it. I have tried other plugins like All-in-One, but they weren't allowing me to do certain things that I needed to do, like canonical tags and some different technical SEO things. So I stuck with Yoast, and it's something that I've used for a while. The other plugins might work fine now, I don't know. But for this tutorial, I'm just going to use Yoast. It's what most people use, and it's not going to break your site by any means. So the way we get plugins, we go to Plugins, Add New. We're going to type in our plugin, Yoast, and we're just going to install it. Now, I already have Yoast Pro, that's why it says it's not on there. And then we're going to set it up. So where you'll find it is right here, SEO. And the first place it's going to take you is the General tab. Now, I kind of just ignore this stuff. I'm going to go to Features. So I keep all of this checked on. Webmaster Tools, this is if you want to set up your Search Console and your Bing Search Console, Google Search Console and Bing Search Console. If you don't know how to do it by just putting the code in your header, or if you just want to use this to sort of streamline the process. And by the way, I also have a Google Search Console tutorial that I just recently did, so I do recommend you go check that out if you don't know how to use Google Search Console to optimize your website. All right, so from there, we're going to go to Search Appearance. I keep all of this as it is. I don't enter this information because I use a different plugin for schema markup. All this does is it adds schema markup to your website, and I don't like using this because it's not very robust. And it adds organization markup on every page, which is not a good thing. Content types, I leave these first two checked, so posts and pages, I keep those indexed. And then I just no index anything that isn't really something that I want to show up on Google. Like Thrive symbols, no, I don't want to show those in the search results. ClickFunnels pages, no, I don't want to show those on the search results. Custom content type archives, no. Event posts, no. Video posts, no. Okay. If you have a bunch of weird other things that come with your theme, you can turn them off. Not everything that is in here for me will similarly be in your Yoast settings as well. So if you're not seeing things, or you're seeing more of things that you don't understand, I generally just try to stick with keeping posts and pages indexed. Media, I keep this yes. Redirect attachment URLs to the attachment itself. Taxonomies, I no index categories unless there are categories that are already ranking well on the website and they're bringing in traffic. And the way I would check that is go to Google Search Console and see if there's any pages that are receiving traffic that are categories. Tags, I no index. Formats, no. I basically no index everything in here, except I keep the category URLs, remove the category prefix. So category URLs in WordPress contain a prefix, usually category. This feature removes that prefix for categories only. Sorry, I don't remove them, I keep them. Archives, so I de-index author unless it's a news website or it's a website with a lot of authors. And then I de-index or I disable date archives unless it's a news website. Breadcrumbs I keep enabled. That's pretty much it. Okay, Search Console. I actually don't know what this is. This is like a new thing they just added in here. Social and this other stuff, I don't use this. This has to do with adding Open Graph data to your website, which is like social share data, and I don't put that on the website. So that's the first thing you can set up for a client. It's Yoast pretty quickly. Most people won't have their indexing done correctly, so it's pretty easy to just go in and see if they have a bunch of pages that don't need to show up, like for instance author pages or whatever. You just type in the name of their website, like site chaserunner.com, and if they have certain pages on the website that shouldn't be showing, like let's say a bunch of author pages, or look, for instance I have a checkout page that's being indexed, I would want to go in and de-index that. Now the cool thing about Yoast is when you go into these pages, I can actually click on the cog wheel here, and then I can go in and no index the pages like that. Now, in terms of optimizing your individual pages with Yoast, the way I usually do it is I check and see what pages are receiving the most traffic first. Sometimes you'll be working with websites that don't have any traffic to them, so there's no way to really tell. But if you have something like Ahrefs or SEMrush, you can get an estimate. And what that looks like is, let's go to Ahrefs, assuming that your website you're working on doesn't have a whole lot of traffic. Plug in something like chasewriter.com. Find the top pages. And here we go. We have the different top pages, and then what I can start doing is going into these pages, like for instance the home page, edit page, and I can start optimizing it with Yoast, obviously. So here we go. Generally, you want to go for keywords that are topically relevant to what you do. So for me, I'm going to be going for something like SEO training or SEO certification. And then this is where I'd put the meta description. Now, the way you could quickly check which pages don't have title tags and which ones don't have meta descriptions, that kind of thing, is plug the website into something like Screaming Frog, and it'll show you in bulk all the different pages that don't have title tags and meta descriptions. Or have duplicate title tags. Obviously, if there's hundreds of pages on the website, that's why you'd want to go for the ones that are the most valuable first, based on which ones are already sort of bringing in traffic. Okay, some other things you can start doing to optimize a website. By the way, all the things that I'm going to be recommending that you do to optimize a website are just going to be based off my SEO roadmap template. So if I go to my home page, and I go to my resources, which is the SEO Audit template. Enter my info. Download the checklist. Here it is. Open it up. So all of these things are things that you can do to fix a website. And these are really just basic things. That's why they're all within the phase 1 audit, not like the phase 2 or 3 or 4 implementations that you're going to want to do. So again, indexation, that's all the stuff that we just fixed within Yoast. Schema markup would be another one. This is a little bit more complicated, and I do have tutorials for this, but the best thing that you can do to quickly do schema markup is to go into your plugins, like so, add new, type in JSON LD, and download this markup JSON LD structured data in schema.org. From there, what you're going to do is you're going to go find it, which is right here on your sidebar, and start marking up your pages. So you would click on blog post to mark up your blog, enable on all posts, and now you have blog markup after you fill in your information. The way you check it is go over to your blog, go to one of your blog posts, go to structured data testing tool, and there we go. Now we can see that there's a blog post markup on the website. Same thing with the other stuff. So organization, this would be if your homepage is representing a national company, not a local company. You would fill out all your information, check your homepage, new test, organization markup, boom. So depending on whether you have other things that you need to mark up or not, that's how you would do it. And that's a quick way to do schema markup. Obviously, there's more complicated things that you're going to need to know about, which I would definitely check out one of my other tutorials that I've done on schema markup, because it is a pretty large topic. Next, we have social data. So how you share your website on social media is pretty important these days. One of the best ways to do that is through a tool called SSO. So you'd go to plugins, WP SSO, add new. And here it is. Once you download it, you can set up the basics to it, just in putting your website name, website description, putting your social profiles. And then what you can do is this will automatically mark up your images and everything on your pages, which is nice with Schema. But what it'll also do is it'll share whatever your title and your meta is into social and pull your featured image into social. Now, if you get the pro version, you can actually specify on your post whether you want to share a video, whether you want to share certain types of information, so on and so on, which is really cool because if you see here, you can keep sharing this every day, basically. I don't know why this is sort of moving around like this. You could keep sharing the same post every day, but with different sort of information on social and make it look completely different. Okay, well, it's sort of moving around a lot. I don't know what's happening. Back into here. So again, some of these other plugins, Smusher, this would be a good one. So this one will give you the ability to compress images to help optimize the page speed on a website. And it might just be called Smush. So there it is. All you have to do is once you download it, go to the plugin Smush. It's going to identify which images need to be resized and compressed, and then you press bulk smush, and here it goes. It'll start optimizing those images on your website. So that's how you can start upping your page speed time on your website to improve your search engine rankings on Google. All right. Next thing we have is broken link checker. So if there's a bunch of broken links on your website, you can tell that within Screaming Frog as well. If you go over here and see response codes, 400 errors, 1 500 error. So what I can do is I can go into broken link checker, which I'll show you how to get it. Just go to add new, broken link checker. And it is this one. Once you download it, you go to Tools, Broken Links, and it'll scan these links for you, so you don't have to scan this every single time. It'll scan it like weekly, I think. And then here you can see you can sort by anything that's a 400 error, and then you can either edit the URL manually, or if you want to do it in bulk, you can just unlink the URLs, and now you won't have 400 errors on your website. So that's a quick way to improve somebody's SEO by not having broken links on the website. Steve says, seems like you added a lot of info to your original audit. Yes, and I still want to update it even more. Sogo add script header footer. This is nice if you want to add pixels or header code that you want to add to individual pages, but for the most part, you're not going to be doing that because you're not going to be doing really technical stuff if you're just doing basic SEO. So that's something we probably want to talk about later. 410 for WordPress. So if you had a bunch of 404s on your website, pages that are broken, that are still being crawled by Google, or that are still showing up on Google, you'd want to use this plugin to 410 them, which basically says that the pages are permanently removed. Don't come back here and crawl them again. Instead of it being temporarily down, and then Google goes back and checks them. Redirection, if you're going to be doing 301 redirects, it's a little bit more advanced type stuff. WP fastest cache, that's more page speed optimization, which I have an hour-long tutorial for that. Some other things are just looking at a website. Really, I'll just show you some big things that you're going to notice a lot with like local websites. So we'll look up like lawyers in my town. Lawyers usually don't invest a lot in SEO in my town for some reason. So let's go to this website. Okay, that's more of like a partner website. Let's see if we can get somebody's personal website. Oh man, that page speed alone is taking forever. I'm not sure if this is local. Let me go off Google. It's probably a little bit easier. I mean, organic. Okay. Oh man. Okay, so here we go. So if we take this website, we plug it into Screaming Frog. First thing I usually look at is if the call to action is above the fold, meaning, you know, is there a button that people could click on without scrolling? And if there isn't, obviously we'd want to put one there. We'd also look at the internal links. You generally want about 3 to 4 internal links per 1,000 words. So one of the things I would do is I'd go in here and edit this page and start adding internal links, like for instance, attorney Stephen, whatever, and then have that link to his profile. His extensive legal abilities or something that would be like the services page, so on and so on. Sadra says, how did you get the checklist? Could you explain again? Yeah, it's just on my website. Just go to chaserunner.com and then click on my resources and it'll be right there. For local, it is good to have the NAP in the footer. Doesn't look like they have the business name in here. They have 2 phone numbers. They don't have hours, which is sort of a problem. This is funny. This is by Scorpion. These people are crazy at internet marketing, but doesn't look like they've really done a great job on the SEO. You could see here the title tag also doesn't really have a lot of click-through rate optimization going on. And what I mean by that is if we go and look at these different titles here, we can see, it just says their business name and then Santa Barbara Lawyers. So it's not talking anything about the reviews. The title length is like 43, which is like 20 characters under, so they could definitely add more to it. If we look at some of the other pages as well, they're repeating their keyword stuffing in the title tag, which is sort of a problem. They have a few pages on the website, which is nice, but we don't really know how much of those are actually doing well. So one of the ways we could do that is plug them into Ahrefs, like so. Look at the top pages, and it looks like the rankings are somewhat decent, which is cool. But in terms of the way they're optimizing the pages, we don't really know. It looks like they are doing the internal linkings, which are good. So I guess they might have just neglected the home page. They're not really adding images to these pages. I don't know what the intent is for these rankings, but one of the things I would also recommend is if you have a little bit of an SEO budget, consider the Benchmarketer software that I got created for me, which basically tells you how many words and images and everything you would need for this page in order to get it to rank. Did my internet just die? I don't know what just happened. In terms of how you're going to be really doing your optimizations, though, because these are really just the basics, most of your big optimizations has to do with phase 2 type stuff, which phase 1 is doing the site-wide SEO changes. So you're fixing things like page speed and indexation, the stuff I was just showing you. Phase 2 is more going into individual URLs and figuring out what is going on with these pages, not just from a keywords perspective, but also from a user experience perspective. And the best way to look at user experience is to map out your pages. And what this looks like, if we go to like one of the clients that I used to work a lot on, let's see if we can find them. It's been a little while since I was working on this. But I was able to take these guys from 2 organic visits a day up to 1,000 per day at one point. And let's see, new. Okay, so here we can see this is what the benchmarks look like that we were working on. So here we can see the keyword of the page that we wanted to rank, the different notes, who optimized it, optimized the date it was optimized on, the notes, and then the UR, the response time of the page, the duplicate content percentage of the page, the click-through rate, the average position, and then also all the benchmarks. So the amount of content-related benchmarks, the amount of words on the page, the deficit or surplus of those words are on the page based on the benchmarker scan, images, deficit or surplus of the images, so on and so on. H tags, H2, top 10 average, and then if we keep scrolling, also as well, all of the analytics-based data, which is the conversion rates, and it's all conditional formatting, so you can see in reds and greens basically. If one page has a good amount of reds on it, if we like scroll over and there's a bunch of reds, generally it's going to have a pretty high correlation with ranking a lot lower because we're not hitting the specific percentages that we're trying to hit. So this is the type of stuff that we teach within the certification that I have. So if you're looking to go from just a basic SEO to a more advanced SEO and actually start getting leads, I funnel all the leads I get for my SEO audits now to the people in my certification. I would definitely recommend you go to my website, just on the homepage, chaserunner.com, click on enroll, and then fill out the form if you are interested in getting in. We only take like 1 to 2 new people per month. So I actually have to go do a meeting right now to do the certification. We do weekly group meetings. So I'm going to go hop on that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until I see y'all next time, happy SEOing.